Oh, what's up? Sorry it's been about a week since my last video. Um, After I made that video, I went on a camping trip, and then after that, I think I just had some stuff to do, or I was busy. I just didn't get to it, but here I am now. So yeah, a fair amount of people on my who commented on my Alaska by Between the Buried and Me track review said that it would be cool for me to review their album Colors. Um, and I asked in the video because I love the album and I love talking about it, and I just didn't know if anyone would think it's like a video of it would be as cool as I would think so. But apparently some people do, so I'm doing that right now. So yeah, I'll try my absolute best to try to do this album justice in words, because in my opinion, the album is beyond words, and I think I'll just try to explain why I think that. I'll start by saying that it is a epic musical journey. Um, Not just musical, actually. I'll get to that later too. Um, it takes you everywhere. That takes you to tons and tons of different places. But you never feel lost. I mean, even if you haven't been to where it's taking you, you still know where you are. You know what I mean? It's really really cool. Some people think that it's really meandering and that it doesn't like know where it's going, but that's not really true because even though it's a long journey, it still has beginning, middle, and end. It definitely knows where it's going, and every landmark on the journey has a purpose and has a place. Um, yeah. It's set up in a really unique way. I mean, not that it like hasn't been done before, but it's still pretty original. Uh, like, well, I guess by definition of original, it might not be, but I mean, there can be levels of original, I think. It's set up where it kind of, if you listen to it all in one sitting, it's one long song. But the transitions between each song well, not between each song, like at the end of one and at the beginning of the next, are set up in the way where you can like listen to them separately still, uh, and it won't feel like you're like missing a piece. Like you can listen to the songs separately, um, and listen to them all at once, and it'll sound like one big song, which is really cool and probably pretty difficult to do. Whoops, to do and make it sound really fluid, like they did on this album. Um, it starts off with Foamborn Part A and B, with the transition so smooth that if you're not paying attention, and you never heard it before, you wouldn't. I guarantee you wouldn't know that the song changed, but you can still listen to it in pieces. Well, if I had to pick one song where if you listen to one or the other, um, and it wouldn't feel like you're missing something, or it would feel like you're missing something, those two songs would be it. But still, the transition still is pretty fluid. But yeah, Foamborn Part A, the backtrack begins with the piano thing, and some this his really Tommy's really good, just calm, tranquil singing voice. And then it goes into the really cool thing where all the instruments kick in, and he does the keyboard riff on the key or that keyboard riff on the keyboard. No, the and it just fits so perfectly, and then it kicks in, and then it does that really like almost like black metal-y kind of blast beat. That song's only like 2 minutes, and then it goes right into uh, Foamborn Part B, The Decade of Statues, and goes right into I'll Just Keep Waiting, and then yeah, that song doesn't have because it's one of the shorter songs on the album. It doesn't really have it's a lot like the song Alaska, the song I reviewed, in the sense that it doesn't really have a lot of genre hopping or a lot of experimentation on it. It's just kind of standard, but like brutal though, and still there is some clean singing in it too. Um, but yeah, it's really cool, and it's nice to have a song, at least one song like that on the album. And that goes right into Informal Gluttony, and that's a really cool transition too, because the Decade of Statues just ends, and then they like hit like a gong, and then that begins Informal Gluttony, and there's like the big drums and these like, I think there's like animal sounds going on, or is that might be just at the end where they do the same kind of thing, and then this really like Egyptian sounding like a Nile esque kind of opening riff, the yeah, and then that song, I can't describe every single song here. All right, um, but yeah, and then that goes right into Son of Nothing, also a very fluid transition. You can always recognize the beginning of Son of Nothing with the drum intro, and that's where the songs start to get longer. That song is 11 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like it at all, because just like every song on the album has a place, every piece of the songs have a place too. They're not just long for the sake of being long. They're not just throwing shit in to make the song longer, and it's extremely obvious that everything is there for a reason. Um, and it's the same thing with Answer the Sky, which is even longer than Son of Nothing. It's 13 minutes. Everything has a place. Um, and White Walls, and prequel to the sequel. That's a fairly long song too, but everything has a place. Um, yeah, I can't talk about the instrumentation of every song. I'll just say that it's amazing, and it's some of the best musicianship I've ever heard, ever. uh, is that an overstatement? I don't know. A lot of people out there probably heard more music than me. I'm just mostly, I don't know, just it's insane. Anyone has to admit that. It's really, really good musicianship wise. Even if you don't like the album, you have to admit that. I don't understand how anyone can't like the album, but um, what's something else that I really really like? There's really, I mean, it's super super technical a lot of the time. The patterns are just really really crazy. There's definitely a lot of Dillinger Escape Plan influence. You can hear it at parts. But there's also a lot of accessibility too. I mean, there's really simple parts that are there to convey the message of the song, and that's why the technical parts are there too, for the most part. Um, I think they do a really really good job of making the songs musically driven and lyrically driven at the same time, and like writing the music to fit like the actual lyric, like whatever he's saying. Um, and there's parts that you can really sing along to, and there's parts that you can just, mosh to, and yeah, it's really cool. One example is of course the part of Son of Nothing where I'm floating towards the sun, and then the part of Answer the Sky, sleep on, fly. I'm not actually singing. I'm just getting you jogging your memory. And then a couple parts of White Walls, and it's just yeah, um, they just blend it flawlessly. Sorry. Um, and the lyrics are fantastic too. Like I said in my Alaska track review, I, I love. I think it's Tommy who writes the lyrics, because it says in Colors Live, Tommy's interpretations, and it's just Tommy talking about each song. So I'm assuming he wrote them. I love his writing style, and it's kind of similar to mine too. I mean, he has a more refined, obviously, but I kind of see myself in a lot of the songs. Well, not myself, my writing style. I do see myself in Son of Nothing. I'm not gonna get into that now, but there's just lots of really cool lines, and I agree with a lot of, or I just like what a lot of the songs are talking about. Informal Gluttony is about, our how fake we are as a society, and how selfish and oblivious to everything that's wrong with us. And White Walls is about how you should be a musician for because you love music and not because you want to become a rock star. And I know that for a fact because there's the interpretations in Colors Live. If you look at the lyrics, they make sense too. And yeah, it's just like lyrically, it's not a concept album, but it all just blends so well. And it's just I love every minute of it. Um, yeah, there's so much cool stuff going on. Yeah, is that it? No, that can't be it. um, but yeah, like I said, an example of fitting the music to the actual like word that he's saying. I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but one example is just in White Walls when he says the whores take the stage. Whenever a singer says the word whore, it's kind of a jagged sounding word. Uh, People's ears kind of perk up whenever they hear it, especially if you enunciate it clearly. I'm not saying he does, but especially if you do. And right when he says that, they have those like dissonant chords come up, like it's like while he says it, and it's just like everything fits, and the message of the song is supposed to get to be is supposed to be gotten across. Like I said, everything is there for a reason, and it's a journey that takes you to the farthest corners of your mind or whatever other vehicle you're taking this journey in. And it's just beautiful. Yeah. Tell me what you think about it. I'd love to hear it. This album is just so fun to discuss. uh, I also love that about it too. All right. Thanks for watching. Turn off.